I'm Darcy with MyRecipes.
And I'm Rebecca with MyRecipes.
And today we are making pigs in a blanket because we're coming up on tailgating season. And yeah, but these aren't just regular pigs in a blanket.
No, they're not.
They are not. They are everything.
Why?
Because they're pigs in an everything bagel blanket.
And we came up with this concept about a week ago because we both really love everything bagels with cream cheese. Like, they're so good. There's nothing like it in the world.
Oh my gosh, like I've replaced so many meals. Well, I shouldn't say replace, but I eat everything bagels for a lot of meals because I love them very much.
Honestly, one of the most satisfying things in the world.
And unlike Rebecca, I also happen to love hot dogs, especially the miniature cocktail wiener kind. These are miniature hot dogs. They're adorable. I love processed meat. There you go, throwing that out there. So, this is like my dream food. It's an ideal. So, let's get started. Let's do it. So, for pigs in an everything bagel blanket, instead of the canned croissant dough, which you would typically use for your traditional game day pigs in a blanket, we have a pound of store-bought fresh pizza dough. And this is something that you can find in a lot of grocery stores, delis, I guess typically where you'll find sandwich bread, or like in Whole Foods where they're making the pizza. If you ask them for fresh dough, they'll give you a 1 pound ball. I know some companies also make fresh pizza dough and it's found in the freezer section. It's still this ball that looks like this, but you just have to thaw it out. So anyway, you want 1 pound fresh pizza dough. And what you're gonna do is take this ball of fresh pizza dough and roll it out a little bit so that you can do your thing. And we're just gonna lightly flour this pizza dough. It's not super sticky. They've kind of already got it to a great place for you, but just to avoid any stickage. Okay, so you want to roll this out to about an 11 by 17 inch rectangle. That was oddly specific, but just about to that place. And you're going to continue to stretch this out as you're wrapping your wieners. So don't sweat it if like your rectangle isn't super perfect. And I'll say it helps to kind of like just work it out a little bit with your hands. But yeah, this is going to give you more of a bagel-like blanket. So, Rebecca over here asked me to work on some tailgating recipes for upcoming tailgating season, right? So I actually went to a school, college, SEC school, where tailgating is like a really big deal. I mean, I'm from the South. This is a thing. I went to the University of Georgia. Game day Saturdays, it is insane. Like, it is like nothing I had ever seen in my freaking life. It's crazy. And it's not something that I ever got super duper into. So when people are like, tailgating food, what's some recipes? What's some ideas? I'm just like, I don't know. You tell me. I have no idea what the hell that means. So Rebecca helped me out a lot on the front of what does it mean to go to a tailgate and eat food? How do you eat this stuff? How do you cook this stuff? Do you cook it beforehand and then bring it to where you're going?
That is always the answer. Although, I will say, so I also went to a big SEC school, the University of Alabama, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
And a lot of people cook there as well with grills and whatnot. And so,
yeah, that's what I always thought of, is like, you got your grill out there, you're sitting there like throwing shit on it, but then it's like, if you're actually going to the game, that doesn't seem super practical.
Well, not a lot of people go to the game.
Okay.
See, games are expensive. If you're a student, you're going to the game because you get the student discount. But a lot of people just like to go and hang out and tailgate on the quad, is what it's Alabama, and there's the Grove down at Ole Miss. And what was yours called? Do you remember?
I'm gonna tell you, it was all up on my street where I lived. Like, there were people all over the sidewalks and stuff. But there was, I'm trying to think, we had a quad, we had something like that, I don't know. Other tip about this pizza dough, you need to let it come to room temperature because it's cold, and if it's cold, it's going to inherently shrink up as you roll it, where if it's at room temperature, when you roll it out, it's going to kind of like stay there. So pull it out to set for a little bit before you're actually getting ready to work, but that's a-okay because like I said, you're going to get to manipulate and work with this a little bit with your hands as you're rolling your wieners. And it's actually a really fun thing, so if you wanted to do this with your kids, it would be a pretty like fun little activity. Just make sure they wash their grimy little hands before you get into it. Okay, so we have one 14-ounce package of cocktail weenies here. What are they called? Little Smokies.
Mm-hmm.
And in a 14-ounce package, you get 42 of them. If that's ample for your tailgating purposes, yeah. If not, you can easily double this recipe.
I feel like a lot of men, yeah, we might need to double it if we had a lot of men tailgating recipe.
Maybe. Can someone hand me a pizza roller? I think there's one right in this drawer. Props, guys. You need them. All right, awesome. Thank you. So basically, supposing you had this like rolled out to the length that you wanted it, you're gonna just roll it out into strips like this from the rectangle that you cut, or that you roll it out to, and then kind of work this one strip out a little bit so that it gets a little bit longer, a little bit thinner, like that. Pizza dough is super duper flexible. And then we're just gonna take this and cut it. See, get that action. Like, it's cold, and so the elasticity, it just comes like right back together. It's kind of crazy. So we're just gonna cut that into a few strips here. Take your little cocktail weenie.
I'm gonna go ahead and slice some more of these for you.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then you're just gonna tightly roll this guy up in the blanket. If it goes over the edges a little bit, that's okay. It's just gonna kind of engulf your piggy, but that's okay. Pinch it where it seals at the ends there though, because you want this little piggy wrapped up tight. So we're not gonna do all of these, but we can go ahead and wrap up a few of them. And then once you wrap up your pigs, you're just gonna wanna put these onto a large baking sheet that you've sprayed with cooking spray. And you can just spray it very lightly. That's mostly so that the pizza dough doesn't stick if you're working in a warm environment and it starts to, you know, kind of get a little goopy.
Rosalia wants to know if there's a way that you could make this gluten-free.
Use gluten-free pizza dough.
Right. I suggested buying store-bought pizza dough just because, you know, it's a little bit easier, but you could definitely make your own homemade pizza dough, and there are a lot of great gluten-free recipes out there, so you could definitely do that, do the same situation, and actually, yeah, that'd be pretty legit.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Trader Joe's probably has a gluten-free prepared pizza dough.
Really?
They might.
I don't know.
I could be very wrong about that, but I feel like I've seen it before.
Rebecca has a feeling.
I do. I've got a feeling. They do well in the gluten-free department.
Yeah.
Beth suggested to use croissant rolls.
Well, croissant rolls are delicious with pigs in a blanket, for sure. And for the traditional pigs in the blanket, I would agree with you 10,000 million %. But today we're making everything bagel pigs in a blanket. And the croissant dough is going to be a little bit butterier and more flaky than what you would want for, you know, mimicking a bagel situation. But that is always delicious.
This is all about getting the everything bagel into these bites.
So yeah, for those of you who are just joining us, we are making some super fun tailgating snacks today. They're pigs in an everything bagel blanket. And all that means is that we are taking the traditional pigs in a blanket and wrapping them up a little bit differently. Because I love everything bagels a lot.
And I do too. And
Okay.
cream cheese.
Girl, did you miss the portion where I was like, you gotta pinch the ends together? You hear what I'm saying?
I did.
I'm so mean. Don't ever cook with me. I'm just kidding.
Pinch the ends together.
Yeah, he's just kind of like make it.
Learning technique. Darcy teaches me how to cook a lot on these Facebook Lives, so sometimes I get it wrong and she yells at me.
I don't ever yell.
Just kidding.
It's not true. I sing more than I yell.
She does.
And that's a lot scarier sometimes. You know, it's really creepy when somebody is singing at you.
So what are your favorite tailgating appetizers or snacks that you bring? Does
Yeah,
anybody
please
have any
explain it to me.
suggestions? We'd love to hear. I also really love making brownies. I do that a lot, and I'm all about for tailgating. I also really like making dips and bringing some chips.
Are there any other things besides cocktail weenies that you could add to these?
Oh yeah, sure.
That you could wrap up in the blanket
Yeah.
here? Well, yeah, sure. I don't see why not. I mean, I just you know, I don't know what else you would want to put in a blanket. What else would you want to put in a blanket, Sarah?
I don't know.
So what else would you put in everything or a blanket?
I mean, pigs in a blanket, they're kind of made for this. I don't know.
I guess you could do cows. I don't know how you'd be able to do that.
Ew. Wait, actually, I think these are made of beef, maybe.
Oh, well, there we go. Cows in an everything blanket.
I have no idea. So we're not gonna like do all of these right now, but in theory, I'm just gonna say if you have a pound of pizza dough and you actually roll it out and don't put massive amounts of dough onto each piggy, the way we're doing in this Russian state of things, your pound of pizza dough will be ample enough to cover 42 pigs. So the next thing we are going to do is we're gonna take these pigs and about 5 or 6 at a time, we're gonna take them over here where we have a pot of boiling water. This is actually a pot of simmering water, but it's about to be boiling. And to that, you're gonna want to add a 1/4 cup or 4 tablespoons of baking soda. This is where the bagel part comes in. Oh yeah, look at that, isn't that fun? Because bagels, as some of you may or may not know, undergo 2 cooking processes, and this is 2 tablespoons of honey. First, you take your dough that you've prepared and had risen a couple times, and you boil it, and that's what creates that nice crusty exterior of a bagel. And then after you boil it for, you know, a minute or 2, you return it to a baking sheet and you bake it to finish the process. And that's how bagels get their signature chewy, crispy, but soft on the inside situation going on. So we're just gonna stir that up so that the honey dissolves in here, and crank this up a little bit and get it back to a boil. So that's what we're gonna do with our pigs in a blanket. We're gonna put these in here at about 6 to 7 pigs at a time, and they don't need to go in there for more than 30 seconds. And you're just gonna give them an initial pre-cook. Over here, underneath our boiling water, we also have a stove or an oven that's preheated to 425, because that's where you're gonna finish baking them off at. So once this, oh, we're back at the boil. Okay. So we can add these, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's say, add 7 of them at a time.
All of our viewers are excited about what sauce we're going to be dipping these in.
Oh yeah, that's the best part. Well, maybe not the best part, but okay. We're gonna pop these in. Because they are everything bagel, pigs in a blanket, we have a nice little cream cheese sauce to go with them, because obviously. So, you're just gonna let these boil for about 30 seconds. And as you'll see, like they kind of start puffing up in that water. And then we'll just scoop them out here. And we're gonna stick them on a baking sheet. Super easy. All right. Let's have our next batch of weenies.
Can I just dump them in?
Yep, just drop them on in there.
Kitchen lessons with Darcy Lens.
Boiling weenies. It's fun. It's good stuff. So there you go. And you can kind of stir these gently a little bit so that they get even water coverage going on. But yeah, just about 20 to 30 seconds. That's all they need to get that initial cooking going. And you'll see the pizza dough kind of creates these little air pockets. Alrighty.
Yeah. Sorry, that's where I'm at. Keep on adding them in.
Little weenies.
I can add some more.
Yeah. In fact, you want to keep doing this while I go ahead and mix up our everything seasoning mix.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and pop them in too.
Yeah. Obviously, the signature of an everything bagel is the everything seasonings. So what we have here is 2 tablespoons of poppy seeds, 2 tablespoons of white sesame seeds, a tablespoon of dried minced garlic, and a tablespoon of dehydrated minced onions, and then 1 teaspoon of big chunky flaky salt. And we're just going to take all of this and put it in a pie plate and mix it together. for our everything bagel seasoning blend. Okay, now you can kind of whisk that up a little bit to get a little explosion going. And then I kind of just like to do a little bit of this action to get everything all evenly incorporated. All right, so that's your everything bagel signature blend, and that's a spice, well, more of a seed blend, a seed and dried aromatics blend that you can kind of top a lot of things if you're playing around. Like an everything pizza crust would be delicious if you wanted to do like a bagel with lox pizza. That sounds kind of fun. Been thinking about that.
That sounds delightful.
Right? I mean, you could have like cream cheese. It'd be good. So, and then the other thing that I've already mixed up here is 1 egg mixed with a tablespoon of half and half, and that's going to be our egg wash that we're going to brush over our pigs before we bake them and dip them. And that creates like a nice glazed finish on your bagel. Well, your pig in a blanket bagel situation. Okay, let's grab our piggies and bring them on over. Just put them right there. And here's the fun part. So let's kind of move them to where we're legitimately going to be baking them, which Rebecca kind of already did. Awesome. And yeah, so now all we do, one by one. This is the kind of annoying part with miniature foods, and you kind of have to address them individually, which takes a minute, but it's all good. It's all
you can
worth
show
it.
them, and then I can finish it, and you can move on to the dip.
Oh, awesome. Let's do that. Okay, so little piggy, egg wash. You're just going to brush that, and you do want to brush it lightly, but get it enough so that it has like a pretty good little coat on there. And yes, this is going to make your hands messy. It'll be okay. And then you have your mix, and you're just going to drop that in there, and this gets a little slippery, but it's all good. Just roll that around a little bit until it's coated, and wham bam, thank you ma'am. There you go.
I like that.
Return it to the
I'm
tray.
going to do that exact same thing while I'm making them.
Are you?
Wham,
So,
bam, thank you, ma'am.
there you go. Rebecca's going to finish egg washing and coating those guys. And we're going to come over here and make the dip that's going to go with our final product. So in here is 6 ounces of cream cheese, just regular plain Jane full fat cream cheese. And to that I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of whole buttermilk. That's just going to add to the rich, thick tanginess. And honestly, you can jazz this dip up with whatever you would like. I kept it simple just because I wanted to mimic that bagel and cream cheese situation. But, you know, you can add whatever you want going on in here. Then we have a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And again, make sure when you bring your pizza dough out to come to room temperature that you do the same thing with your cream cheese, because you need it to be good and soft. We're gonna have a tablespoon of lemon juice. I'm gonna reach over you and steal this knife. Just cut this right here. We're just gonna give that a squeeze into there. These are small lemons, so let's go ahead and take both halves of that. Awesome. Okay. And a pinch of black pepper, freshly ground black pepper. And then some chopped chives. And we'll save some of these chives to finish off at the end so that it looks nice and pretty. Okay, so we're just gonna lock that in and start it low and beat this mixture up. My cream cheese probably could have been a little bit softer, but I think it's gonna be a-okay.
You have to keep it really soft.
It just makes things easier. How are our wieners coming?
They're coming. I'm not as fast as you were.
That's okay. They're really slippery. They're hard to work with.
Does anyone else have any suggestions for us?
Suggestions, questions, anything? You just really into...
Everyone's really excited. They say they look amazing.
Awesome. They actually are a pretty cute, fun thing to bring out to a party. Tailgating or not, I would definitely serve these as some fun party food.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's funny, like with my everything bagel obsession, like there has to be smoked salmon as a part of it. So I was trying to think of how to incorporate smoked salmon into this recipe. And then when I really thought about it, I was like, that's disgusting.
No, that would be really gross. I would not like that. But surely there's something that we can figure out.
I mean, that might just be left for some other day, some other recipe, some other time. I don't think that hot dogs and smoked salmon should go together. That's a little strange.
It is a little strange.
And I'm into strange food combinations, but that might be a little much. We're just gonna beat this up until it is smooth and fluffy and delightful. I hope you're having fun.
I am having fun.
Good.
Making a little bit of a mess, but I'm not you, so
That is fine.
you don't have to be me. That's great.
How
How do you avoid this? Is there like a way that you can do like one on one hand, or just be like,
you mean to avoid the messiness?
yeah,
I'll be honest, I kind of grab like the ends of the hot dog itself and just like give it a little bit of a rolling action, like one-handedly. There's like I have a technique for this, you guys. So if you like put them between two fingers and then roll it with the third finger a little bit, like you can.
so smart. Well, why don't you know?
Suzanne suggested getting the kids to help out.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've said this before. This is a great project for you to get your kids working with. I mean, it's fun. It's super hands-on. And honestly, that's like the great thing about a recipe like this, where it is a little bit more involved. It is a little more complicated than just the basic pigs in a blanket. But it's a fun chance for everyone to get in the kitchen and everyone to have a job. There's nothing worse than getting in the kitchen with like your brother or sister and everyone's fighting over who can do the one kid-friendly job. It's like everything about this, except for maybe the boiling water, is pretty kid-friendly. I'm gonna say that's probably pretty good for our purposes. Okay. So now we have this nice thick cream cheese and chive dip that we are going to use for our everything bagel bite. All right. I'm just gonna give this another stir with my mustard spatula here. Awesome. And like I said, you can put whatever it is that would make your heart happy into this. I kept it simple, and definitely let your cream cheese come fully to room temperature and make sure it's nice and soft. Because as you can see, I have a couple, like some little bit of lumpiness going on in here, and if you let your cream cheese soften fully, that won't happen to you. Okay.
I'm still working on these.
Still working. You know what?
What?
I think that you can just be done if you want to.
Okay.
Unless you insist on
You don't have to.
finishing the project. No, it's here. We'll leave some plain for some people who don't like everything bagels.
Well, who is that?
No one that I'm friends with.
I think we should just finish them out.
Well,
Yeah.
Rebecca's not a quitter, and that's what I love about her.
I'm not a quitter. I like to finish
She's our team
things.
cheerleader, and she is all the way, let's do it, gung-ho, all about it.
I am a team
Every
cheerleader.
time.
I'm always, yeah, that's why I like tailgating season. You know, I was a cheerleader, but so was Roxy.
It's true.
And the funniest part about that, which maybe you guys don't want to know this, but it's kind of funny. I'm 5'11" and she's about 5'9", so
We're giants.
we're pretty tall human beings, and we were both cheerleaders, so we just kind of like to go against the norm.
Yeah,
I think.
defy expectations.
Yes, absolutely. That's the story of us. So that's why we bake together.
It was a terrible story. None of that made sense. But I love it. It's like the narrative of our friendship.
Yep.
Nothing makes sense.
Yep, pretty much. Okay, that one is done.
Final wiener.
It's ready.
It's just fun to say that you're in the kitchen cooking up wieners.
It is fun. Okay.
All right. So, like I said, we preheated our oven to 425. We're gonna pop this big old rack of wieners into that preheated oven. Thanks. And you're gonna wanna bake these for 12 to 15 minutes to get them nice and golden brown. But just keep an eye on them and check them like after, you know, half of that time. So check them in about 6 or 7 minutes and see where they're at. Rotate the baking pan. And if you see, it depends on your oven, if you see that yours are coming to fruition a little early, pull them, that's all good. So we have our dip, we have our wieners baking. This is gonna be awesome. The only reason, oh hey, look at that.
And this is what they look like when they're ready.
This is the completed everything bagel.
We need a little bowl to put that in.
I mean, yeah. You're all about the presentation, but
I am about the presentation. I guess we can just put them on this.
it's in a bowl. It'll be okay.
This is some cream cheese action.
You're about to, okay, yeah, oh yeah, because like at a tailgate, that's what you would do. You would, yeah, right? Yeah,
That's what I would do.
You would make your plate. There you go.
Okay.
Nice.
These are so perfect.
I know they're so fluffy and
They're
delightful.
so fluffy. Look at that.
It's so cute.
Okay.
I love it.
I'm gonna have a bite because I'm really hungry, and these
Me
look
too.
delightful. So I'm gonna scoop that in there.
Let me do that. I'm gonna do the same. Womp. It's a mouthful, but a delicious mouthful.
That is fluffy.
Damn, son, that's good. I forgot how good that was
Okay.
since the other day.
It's really good.
Cool. So,
Thank you so much.
we hope you enjoyed this.
Watch out for your teeth.
I don't want to talk to you anymore.
We don't. We're just gonna eat these
And with that,
enjoy these. Pigs and everything blanket, perfect tailgating, and just everything.
everything. They are everything. And we will see y'all next time. Thank you for joining us.